All right, happy Sunday, everybody. Mike from Beat Tech Reviews here, and hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Let me take a look here. I might want to check my screen status just to see how the stream looks because I've been having some technical issues as of late, and just want to make sure everything looks good on my end. So let me switch accounts and let me see if I can see if I can even view the stream first of all. But again, hopefully you guys are all doing good. Happy Sunday. Let me get the on-screen thing going. Technical issues. Okay, it looks like it sounds good and it looks like the stream's okay. So let's go ahead and just pop this open real quick. If you guys if you guys are watching the replay of the video, smash the like button. Definitely helps the YouTube algorithm. And if you guys can also please give your thoughts in the chat here. As I'm going to be going over the topic here, which is Motorola phones in the US ban could be possible. And I want to give one of my followers a shout out, Gene, who sent this article to me, and I actually meant to do this live stream a couple of days ago. It's just I've been kind of busy. I was out of town during Christmas and whatnot, so hopefully again we're doing an early live stream today because I do work in a couple of hours at my job. So I was like, you know what, let me get on, let me try to do an early stream, let me try to pull a Tito over here and do live streams. I haven't really been seeing him go live, so shout out to you, Tito. Shout out to my boys Latrell and guys like Magic Tech, RJ, CB Tech, all those fellas that are my fellow content creators. Hopefully everyone's doing good. But yeah, if you guys are joining in, say hi in the chat. Let's get this going and we can talk about this article. So again, just before we get into it, sorry, I don't really have a formal, I guess, time to when I stream. Usually I stream at nighttime, but again, today we're just doing the stream. We're just doing the stream, guys. Like I'm not gonna talk about time. I don't really promote my streams. So if you get the notification, if you got the notification, let me know also, right? And if you end up watching the video later, that's okay. But leave in the comments below that you got my notification. We got Jeremy Dobson in the house. What's going on, Jeremy? Let me see if I can get the chat overlay on really quick. That way we can see some of the chats here. Make sure it's working. It is working. So yeah, the last couple of streams, I think it wasn't working. So again, shout out to you. And again, this might not be too long of a stream. We might only go about 30 minutes. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully you all had a great Christmas, and we're just literally a few days away from the new year. 2024 has been probably one of my best years on YouTube as far as like viewership and money wise, I guess, monetization wise. It's actually been a really good year for me. And I want to keep that rolling in 2025. Let's see if we can double those profits in 2025. So we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, I still do need to continue pumping out content. So again, guys, let's go ahead and hit it. Jeremy, thanks again for joining in and saying hi. So let's go ahead and get the article going here. So again, I want to give a shout out. First of all, let's give a shout out to John Mark for saying that I talk too much. Start the topic. I am going to start the topic, okay? But this is my stream, and this is how I can format it. This is how I want to format it. So again, usually there's no people that jump into the stream at first. So again, thanks again for joining in, guys. Again, let's go ahead and get this topic going. Again, I want to give a shout out to Gene for pointing this out, and I am using Android Central as a I want to give them a shout out for posting this article. This is from Android Central. So Motorola phones could be banned in the US. What would that mean for the market? So again, if you guys are not sure what's going on, let's take a look at the article. We're going to read the article and then let's talk about it. Let's see what you guys have to say about your opinion on Motorola phones, and if you have any. So again, let's take a look at this. So again, they're saying this isn't the first time a China-based phone maker became embroiled in an international patent dispute. Motorola's comeback tour in the US might be quickly coming to an abrupt halt. The brand's still a minor player in the overall market for the best Android phones, found recent success with the Motorola Razr line. So yeah, of budget and flagship foldables. However, a patent dispute between Sony Ericsson and Motorola Mobility, owned by Lenovo, could eliminate the ability of Motorola handsets in the US. So, in an initial ruling Tuesday on December 17th, that was literally recently, a judge for the U.S. International Trade Commission decided that Motorola phones infringed on a key 5G patent held by Sony Ericsson. Right, the smartphones in question include those in the Motorola the G, the Edge, the Razr lineups. If the initial ruling by the ITC stands, imports of the phones in the U.S. could be banned and all but eliminating their availability. That sucks because again, a lot of their good phones, right, like the Motorola Edge, the Motorola G. Well, I wouldn't say Motorola G. No one really buys the Motorola G, but like Motorola Edge and Motorola Razr phones, they are decent, right? They're decent mid-range phones. And again, if you have the Razr, the Razr Flip phone, which is one of their higher end phones, for them to ban because of patent issues will suck for a lot of consumers, honestly. Let's continue the article. So it says the ITC will issue a final ruling in April 2025, and if its initial decision is upheld, a ban on Motorola phones in the US is likely to happen. That would have ripple effects throughout the US market because Lenovo made up 14% of the country's mobile market share as of Q3 of 2024, according to Counterpoint Research Group. Crucially, some of the brand's most successful smartphones are involved in the dispute. Again, Motorola's absence would leave a hole in the market, notably where clamshell foldables are concerned. There simply isn't another player making affordable foldables in the US like Motorola did with the Razr 2023 and Razr 2024. It's possible that instead of elevating and growing brands like OnePlus, a ban on Motorola phones would just make the big three, Apple, Samsung, and Google, even more dominant, right? In November of 2024, one of the industry reports indicated that a major competitor in the foldable market was considering an exit. Entering 2025, we could be down at least one foldable manufacturer. In that report turns out to be accurate. Motorola could represent another, and if possible that no one steps up to replace it, we could be back to where we started with Samsung as the only major clamshell foldable manufacturer and no need to innovate due to lack of competition. It seems that patent disputes in the mobile sector are becoming increasingly common. Oppo and Vivo recently ended a dispute with Nokia about 5G patents, and OnePlus is now in hot water again in Germany over similar issues. While it's great that the brands are held accountable for their use of patents, it's a shame that these decisions only decrease the number of phones that are available by consumers. So it's very interesting, guys, first of all. And again, hopefully, again, you guys are enjoying the stream. Hopefully you guys had a good holiday. Let me see if I can make myself a little bit bigger here. Let's see. Okay, hold on. They changed the way this looks. Hold on. Can I do this? Oh, no. Okay. Can I do that? There you go. I'll make myself a little bit bigger. This used to be a bigger thing. This literally used to make me bigger, but anyways, hold on. We'll keep it like this for now. So yeah, what are your thoughts, guys? Again, we only have two people here in the actual chat themselves. Jeremy Dobson, if you're still there, let me know what you think as far as Motorola possibly being banned due to 5G patents. For me personally, I think this would actually hurt a lot of, first of all, tech reviewers like me, because actually a lot of the phones that I do videos on mostly this year were Motorola phones, and the reason why I'm able to do these videos for you guys is because the Motorola devices are generally cheap. So this year I've actually been able to get my hands on like a handful of Motorola devices, like the Motorola Think Phone, the Motorola Edge recently, the Motorola Razr 2023 from last year, right? But I got it earlier this year at the beginning of the year. And a lot of these phones, they're inexpensive, or like carriers like Metro by T-Mobile will literally give the phones away as long as you sign up for one of their plans. So for a YouTuber on a low budget like myself, this actually probably would hurt my channel, because I really I really don't go and go looking for higher end devices like Samsung devices. Even though Samsung does have a lot of cheap units, right? They have the A15 series, the A16, the A20s, the A50s, etc. I feel like Motorola phones are a little bit different in a sense where they have a little bit more uh, utility to them, right? You can do more. I feel like you can do more with Motorola phones, especially with like all their little Motorola features, right? They add a lot of value to what would you would notably think is a budget device, right? And when I say budget, I'm talking about like phones that are like under the $500 mark, right? Because let's be real, right? Anything under 500 or anything above 500 is more of a flagship level phone now, and anything below that is mostly considered mid-range, right? Mid-range. So again, phones like the Motorola Edge, phones like the Motorola the Moto Stylus G 2024, which it's a huge value in my opinion. The Motorola Stylus G is one of my more favorite phones of this year. Again, you can get all these phones for like under $400, probably unlocked right now because of the holidays. You can get them for like under 300 unlocked, right? Again, they have pretty decent specs, right? They don't have the best specs, obviously, but like they've kind of upped their game this year when it came to their mid-range devices, right? Like the Motorola G Stylish got an upgrade on the screen, got an upgrade to wireless charging. The Motorola Edge, the lower end version of the Edge, got again wireless charging, has a very nice POLED screen. The cameras are pretty decent. I wouldn't say the cameras are the best. I think that's probably a focal point that I think Motorola could do is upgrade the camera software. And because I don't think it's the camera, because I think it's literally the same Sony sensor that they put on most of the smartphones nowadays. You see them on the Samsung devices and pretty much all the Motorola devices. But I think it's just interesting that, again, something like this could happen to Motorola, because Motorola at one point it was owned by Google, right? Motorola was owned by Google, and then after Google took over the patents or whatever, they sold it off. They sold it to Lenovo. They're like, yeah, we don't need you anymore. So I feel that that Google could have really they should have just stuck with Motorola as their company, or as what they were using to sell their phones, right? And it could have been like the Motorola Pixel, right? Rather than the Google Pixel. I mean, I know Google wants to keep their name, right? But the Motorola Google Pixel, etc., like that. So, hey, looks like we got a YouTube experiment in the house. Thanks again for joining in, YouTube experiment. We are just talking about the possible Motorola ban. Hello, Moto. Yep, you're right about that. So, and that's one thing about Motorola phones. It's got a lot of little quirks and features, right? So, if you've ever used a Motorola device, that that has little Motorola action things that you can do with the phone, like you can chop it to turn the camera light on. You can flip it and twist it to turn the camera on. It has like just little things that you can do that probably you couldn't do with other devices, right? So I think that the fact that those still exist today, even though they're a little gimmicky, right, they're still fun to use, right? So, okay, well, we are still live. Let me turn that Walmart app on, guys, because I still need to make money, right? I've been doing gig work all year, and I want to close out strong. And I still have about a good hour before. What possible ban? Okay, so YouTube experiment is asking what possible ban is going on with Motorola. So yeah, so I just kind of read through the article here, but basically, in recent years, multiple Chinese brands have become involved in patent disputes surrounding their use of 5G technology in smartphones. Notably, Motorola itself is fighting the same battle with Sony Ericsson in multiple markets. Initial court decisions in Brazil and Colombia already ruled in favor of Sony, and more legal battles are taking place in South America and the United Kingdom. So again, a lot of it has to do with like their 5G technology and patents that I guess Motorola probably just isn't paying. Motorola isn't paying for either they're not paying for the patents, or they're illegally using and putting the technology in their phones without Sony Ericsson's permission. So that's probably what's happening here. We got another chat here. Legendary Michael says, I love Motorola phones. I just got the Motorola G Stylus 5G 2024. Loving it. Yeah, the Motorola G 5G is a good phone. So we're currently I actually have that phone in my lineup. I have the Motorola Edge, which is the mid-range version of it. There's two versions of the Edge. I have the regular one. I don't have the Plus. And then I also have the Motorola ThinkPhone. So if you guys are not familiar with the Motorola ThinkPhone, it's not really being sold at stores, but you can buy it unlocked currently on Amazon. If you check out my videos, if you guys want to look more into that or whatever. But yeah, so Motorola phones are pretty good. I feel like they're very good value for their buck. Basically, let's get me on top here. I feel weird being on the bottom. That sounded wrong, but anyways, yeah. So Legendary Michael, let me know what you think as far as that goes. Again, I'm reading here directly from AndroidCentral.com. And the writer of the article for this specific article was Derek Lee and Nicholas Sutrich. So I definitely want to give them credit for the video idea, first of all. And I want to give Gene, who's not even here. Gene, what's going on? Gene Giuliani, who's actually a channel subscriber. Actually, I think he's my only subscriber or not channel subscriber, but channel subscription. He has like a paid subscription to the channel, even though I don't do like any member only stuff on my channel. He's a member. There you go, YouTube member. I want to give him a big shout out for continuing to be a member of the channel and continuing to support and definitely giving good ideas. So let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know how you guys are all doing. How did everyone's Christmas go this year? Mine was pretty chill. I went to I traveled, right? I went to go pick up my mom out there in the Houston area. I have family members that live out there, and my mom was out there for the past month, so it was time for her to come back. So I got to spend a couple of days out there with my family, and then we were just chilling for a couple of days, and then I drove back a couple of days ago, and now we're back. So now we're back, and I'm back to work. I've already been working the last couple of days, like literally. So a return. Let's see what's going on with this. I don't know what's going on with the Walmart app, by the way. Let's see. We got a few chats here in the chat. Queens. All right, it says pickup time 1 p.m. Okay, we will do that. It's not too bad. So hopefully I probably will be on for only maybe like another 15 minutes for you guys. Let's see how that goes. But let's see. A YouTube experiment saying that the Stylus Moto phone looks interesting. I might switch back to Cricket and pick it up. Only because AT&T seems to have the only signal here. If that's the case in your area, that sucks. But if you want to get the Stylus, I think you could still pick it up for $0 down. From Metro by T-Mobile, and you only have to pay for the $70 flex plan, to my knowledge. So if you just want to get the phone and you want to play around with it, then try to get it on Metro first, and if you like it, then maybe you can go get it on AT&T later on. You know what I mean? Legendary Michael says if the ban does happen, we can still use our Motorola phones. Most likely, if you already have a Motorola phone, there shouldn't be any issues as far as usability goes. It's just, the support on the devices, like, like the security patches and the Android updates might disappear from those devices, or maybe there'll be some sort of agreement where they'll let current Motorola phones that are still in the U.S. market still be used up to a certain degree, right? I know when HTC disappeared, or not HTC, but what was that? Huawei, right? Huawei had the ban a couple years back also. I vaguely recall, and don't quote me on this, but people that had the phones, they ended up losing like the Play Store, right? Google Play Store. Like you couldn't really use certain apps or features here in the US that you might be able to use internationally. So let's see. YouTube experiment is saying Cricket, it's free with top tier plan. Okay, there you go. So it's the same thing basically. So you can get it on Cricket if Cricket is a good service for you over there. Oh, excuse me, I have to pop my neck. If Cricket is a good service for you over there, then I say do it. You know what I mean? I don't see anything wrong with that. Man, the music in the background is popping, by the way. This is supposed to be Christmas Eve music, and they're playing like freaking like some Cowboy Bebop shit over here. Anyways, let's go back to the chat here. But yeah, I think it's interesting because Motorola, you know, they were a U.S. based company, right? Prior to being purchased, I think, or at least to my knowledge, they were. Maybe they weren't a U.S. based company, but I mean, they were very prevalent in the U.S. market prior to even like getting, you know, on cell phones, right? You remember the original Motorola Razr and whatnot? Like, you know, it was a very popular brand back in the day. So I just don't see. I mean, hopefully that they get the patent issue worked out, so that we don't have to, you know, wonder or I guess see what's going on with that. Let's see. So I am going to pick up a Walmart return. That's going to be interesting. Or maybe I should just cancel it. Maybe I should just cancel the trip. Cancel the trip. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to turn on one of my fans because it is hot in here. It is hot in here in my room. I don't have like no AC on or nothing. So 1 second. Oh, are you sleeping, Mama? All right, I'm back. I am back. Hopefully, but yeah. Hey, we got 6 people in the chat. But guys, if you can, please smash the like button for me. That would really help out the channel. And, you know, again, let me know what you guys think as far as the, you know, possible Motorola ban in 2025 possible. Like right now, we're still able to purchase Motorola devices. So there's no issues there. It's not so much about that. It's just about, the patent technology for the 5G not being, I guess, legal in the US, right? So let's see. All right, they haven't kicked me off this order yet, so we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Hey, we still got YouTube Experiment in the house chatting. Hold on 1 second. All right, so first of all, thanks again for being very interactive, YouTube Experiment and Legendary Mike. Appreciate it. All right, currently have a $15 Boost Mobile AT&T SIM around $16.49 with tax and eSIM. $15 portion deal for $5 years with Visible for their low tier plan. Okay, interesting. That's pretty good actually. If you have a $15 Boost Mobile with tax, what do you get with that though? As far as what do you get like unlimited data, or do you get like only like 5 gigs of data with like unlimited talk and text? See, we got SPMJ. I just got a Motorola Edge, paid $300 from Consumer Cellular. I don't have any money to buy a different phone. So again, guys, just keep in mind, right? Like when it comes to this happening, this can take a while for this to actually happen. But that doesn't mean that if you have a Motorola phone, that it's just gonna be deactivated and stuff like that. That's not going to happen, right? So what's going to happen is they are just going to ban the sale of any future devices in the US, if it happens, right? So if you already purchased the device, keep that in mind that, you'll still be able to use your phone. Again, there shouldn't be any issues with that unless the carrier tells you, hey, sorry, they're banning this specific device that you can't use it on our service anymore, right? I don't think that it'll go to that length of, because look at what I read in the article saying that Motorola had 14% of the market share as far as cell phone sales in the US alone, right? So they have a pretty big chunk of the market sell when it comes to devices that are being used. So Legendary Michael says, if the ban does happen, I will just switch to Samsung. And that's the crappy part about this, right? That there's not a lot of options now as far as the type of phones that you can get in 2024 or 2025, right? Really because of the big three, right? And I'm talking about Samsung, Apple, Google, right? I guess I think we would probably put Google up there in top 3 as far as the sales, right? If this was 5-10 years ago, we had so many more options back then, right? We had we had Nokia, we had HTC, we had LG, right? LG was a big player in the cell phones, and then LG just decided we're not going to sell cell phones anymore in the US, right? Like they just kind of gave up on making devices and trying to make money on cellular technology. And I thought LG had some of the better phones out there as far as Android goes. It's not that LG got banned or anything like that. It's just that LG, again, they gave up. They were just like, we're just gonna give it to the the other phone companies and let them deal with it, right? But if you think about it, right, look at Google and their early days with phones, right? They with the Nexus devices, right? A lot of their popular phones were made by LG, right? The LG Nexus, the Nexus 4 and the Nexus 5, and I think they had the LG Nexus 5X, right? So we can't forget about companies like that actually had very decent, good phones back then. You know what I mean? Let's see. YouTube experiment says first 5 gigabytes I think is high speed, then it crawls to a snail. Yeah, so it sounds like that it throttles you after your 5 gigs, but at least it doesn't completely take away your data. You just really can't watch or stream media, but you can still get on social media like Twitter or Facebook, or even just read your email, basic stuff, right? Maybe send pictures here and there to but I don't think that's bad, right? That's what Wi-Fi is for if you have Wi-Fi. But the visible plan for 15 is the same as $25 plan. So I don't think there's a $15 visible plan unless you're getting the $10 discount. I'm sorry. I don't know. Is there a $15 visible plan? I have no clue, honestly. To my knowledge, there's only a $25 plan and a $45 plan on visible. Let's see. Both plans I have right now are not offered at the price anymore. Okay, I got you. Yeah, so I know for a while Visible was offering a promotion for like $10 off whatever plan you were picking, right? So right now I do have my mom on the $45 plan, but she's paying only $35 a month. And then same with me, like I'm on the $45 plan, but I'm only paying $25 a month because I get discount for sharing my code online. So basically, like I get discount for bringing in new users, basically. So it was a port-in plan for 5 years. Okay, that's a good deal. So if you still have that, keep it. Don't lose it, because $15 a month. Again, I'm paying right now on my $25 plan on Visible. I'm literally only paying $5 a month because I get they're giving people that use the code $20 off. So use it to your best of your ability, I guess, and just go from there, guys. Save that money. I always like to say save that money, because like these phone companies, they don't care about us, right? They care about profits, and I'm sure they don't really care about like the people that work in their stores either. They're just hourly employees just like any other company, right? If they're getting paid good money, then good for them, right? But like I said, these major companies, they don't really care about their employees. They just care about profits and numbers and analytics. That's all they care about. Supposedly it was a T-Mobile post paid plan, but it actually wasn't. Okay, I got you. Well, YouTube Experiment, thanks for being here. Thanks for being so chatty with me, Mr. YouTube Experiment. I really appreciate it. I probably will be ending the stream in about 10 minutes, I guess. The pickup time is coming up. Let me see. Hopefully I don't get kicked out of the order. Because I will have to leave my house in about like 10 minutes. So yeah, TCL phones, I know they tried making it a thing here in the US. I know probably in other markets, the Asian markets or the European markets, TCL phones are probably doing a lot better internationally than they are here in the US. And the reason is because of the name, basically. It's not that their phones are not good. I've had a few of their phones when luckily when I was, when TCL was starting to first bring their phones out here, I was one of the YouTube channels that was chosen to, make videos on their phones, right? Really test out the phones, right? And let you guys know what the phone is about, how good the phone is, just talk about the phone, gaming, etc., like that. And really after the first couple years, they really kind of just gave up also, and they just kind of started throwing out like these cheap mid-range devices, which no one really cares about. I've been actually wanting to get my hands on one. I can see if I can get one on Amazon or something for cheap, just because just because I think I do want to maybe get rid of my Motorola Think phone and transition to something else, right? But the thing is, you got to buy an unlocked device, right? You know, you can probably get a TCL phone through carrier like Metro by T-Mobile for free. You know, again, there's nothing wrong with that either. But it's just like their phones are not like, I feel like they're just not good enough for people to want, right? You know, I mean, a lot of their phones when they first came out didn't have OLED screens, right? Only their higher end phones, like the TCL 10, the TCL 20 Pro, had nice screen phones. And it's like the same thing for New Mobile, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar with New Mobile and UU Mobile. But basically, New Mobile, you know, they recently released a phone called the B30 Pro. It was a very good device, right? You know, as far as the specs and everything goes. But the thing is with that device is you could only use it on T-Mobile networks, and that's it. So they claim that the phone is unlocked, etc., like that. But then there's a caveat, right? You can only use it on specific networks, and that's going to be the same on a lot of these, you know, international phones or phone companies that are really not really based in the US market. They do have some sort of name here in the US, but they're just trying to, you know, dip their toes in the water and try to see what, you know, they can get from the US market, right? And if it doesn't work out, then they end up leaving, or they just dip and they might be gone for a year or two, and then they might come back with another phone later on. But it's just one of those deals where, again, you know, you really can't let me see what time this thing is. It says 1 p.m. So I don't know why I'm getting 1 p.m. pickup and drop off. Blah, 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 blah. 2 stops. 19 minutes, it says. Okay, anyways. So yeah, and I really had high hopes for TCL because their phones actually were pretty good. Like, I think I had sent one to Tito a while back. I don't know if he's been messing around with it or not, but it was locked, I believe, to T-Mobile. But like, their phones were actually pretty decent. Like, I really liked their UI. The UI was not bad, and you know, their phones would get regular updates, right? I mean, maybe not the version of Android, but they would send out like a lot of security patches. The phones were very easy to navigate through, even though they were not, you know, AMOLED screens, or they had very good high quality IPS screens. Which again, they look good. Obviously, they looked a little bit better than your typical, you know, budget Android phone, right? They made it to where they were using their technology as far as like their TV screen technology, and they were pumping it into their phone. So that's one thing I really did like about TCL with that. So it would suck, guys, if the Motorola market dipped, right, and we weren't seeing Motorola phones anymore. I would really hate that. All right, YouTube Experiment, thanks again for joining in. I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks again. Smash that like button on the way out if you haven't, man. Take it easy. You have a good day. But it's just one of those deals where, like, you know, it's just going to be like, okay, like, what phones can I get in 5 years, right? It would really suck if it, like, you know, we're close to 2030 already. That's 5 years from now, 2030. I cannot believe I'm saying that, right? I'm going to be in my 40s in 5 years. I'm going to be in my 40s in a couple years. Next year is my last year in my 30s, so I really gotta take that in, guys, because I know I look young, you know, but my my age is not, how old I am does not translate to how young I look. Is all I'm gonna say. But anyways, so yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think. I really appreciate y'all being here, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream today, but you know, if you guys watch the replay on this, you know, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think as far as, you know, Motorola possibly not being sold in the US phones, as far as phones anymore by next year. I'm hoping that's not the case, because like I said, I feel like my channel is actually catered to Motorola phones in some way. Most of my phone videos this year were all Motorola phones. I maybe had like 1 or 2 Samsung devices, but that was it, right? Most of my phones were all Motorola devices. So anyways, guys, thanks again for watching the video. Smash that like button.